A big story out of Hollywood this year is just their sheer hubris. The fact that they hate the fans, that they loathe you for actually caring about the properties that they are attempting to adapt or to make new installments of. You're, in fact, the problem for noticing that they are abandoning a lot of the lore, a lot of the work that Tolkien did, because they want to make it their own, because they're hacks, they're not talented, they can't create their own things, and so they have to pretend like this licensed IP stuff is way more important than actually creating original works. It's like the scam of Hollywood, really. And every single time that it gets noticed, every single time that the fans tune out, they go into this vicious attack mode where they go at you. Now, Rings of Power, their actors, the stars, have been doing this for a while, much like we saw with The Acolyte and their stars. But now it's gotten really out of control, which we'll get into in just a moment. My name's John Delarose, everybody. Please hit the like and subscribe button. Join us here as we talk about all things science fiction and fantasy. Really appreciate you for being here and being part of our community. It's been a wonderful, wonderful ride this year. I'm also a fantasy author. I've got a 6-book series in the Adventures of Baron von Monocle. This is not Tolkien-esque, I will warn right away. But it does open up with like a giant war that really builds over the course of this series. And so you've got a big good versus evil battle happening, and you'll really enjoy it. Check it out. The link's in the description below. Thank you guys so much for supporting our work. You can grab the entire series on Amazon today and start your reading. And all of it's available on audio, except for the last book. We're working on this right now. Should be up by January audiobook-wise. Thank you so much again. All right. So, Rings of the Power showrunner J.D. Payne decided to attack fans of J.R.R. Tolkien as fans have abandoned the show en masse. Now, like I said, this is not new for Rings of Power. We saw that the Black Elf actor was going at fans prior to the premiere, being like, "Oh, I love being in this role because I hate upsetting the racists." Then we saw that the Galadriel actress was out there saying that a lot of people get upset by a strong female lead, especially Sauron, and I want to upset Sauron. So, of course, if you don't like the bad characterization of Galadriel in the show, or the weird diversity casting that doesn't make sense in the context of Middle-earth, you are therefore a bad person, and you're on the evil level of Sauron, right? And that's exactly how these people feel about you. They really do feel that the people who understand these properties, the fans, are just below them. You're supposed to put them on a pedestal. They're Hollywood writers and actors. You're supposed to appreciate them because they're just better than you. Yeah, right. We know exactly what's been going on in Hollywood for a long, long time. It is a cesspool of degeneracy and evil. It is the pit of Mordor, and it needs to be purged. It really does at this point. But these guys just always do this, and every time as their woke agenda fails and their bad writing fails, they lash out at the fans and blame the fans for their own failures because they can't accept it themselves. So he said the Fellowship had to look to each other and those who support it and remember what it's fighting for. And when we see that millions of people are watching and responding so positively to it, that's who we're fighting for. So this is his interview with The Hollywood Reporter right here. So I don't know any of the millions who are, quote, responding positively to it. We know the ratings are dipping below the level that millions would be watching this at all. So very interesting that he's saying this at this point. He said, and those who watch every episode and negatively write about it on social media and make YouTube videos, we're happy to have you guys too. It wouldn't be a journey through Middle-earth without some trolls along the way. Yeah, so us being like, hey, this doesn't actually do honor to Tolkien's work. It's a bad representation of it. You're actually actively ignoring a lot of Tolkien's work in order to make your storylines and changing things to make it your own. We're just trolls for saying that, of course. Which is interesting because, I mean, in reality, if you think about the way that they handle things at these studios, what they've been doing with the woke stuff all the way through, these people are trolling the audiences, right? I mean, they go out there and if you look at the marketing, I already mentioned it, they actively went out there and just called the audience followers of Sauron for not liking Galadriel in this form, or just prodding the audience about the Black Elves in their interviews, right? I mean, this is what they do. I mean, their entire marketing campaign is a cynical troll campaign meant to agitate people And the reason they do that, and this is what's done in everything, is because they want to try to make a political cause out of the show, hoping that the modern audience that they're craving is going to come in and just back them up over the real audience out there, which is the normal people and everybody. And it doesn't, because that modern audience is a fraction of the size of everybody else. They were really, really loud for some time. They went out there and they made enough of a wave within these corporations, within Hollywood and all that, that they really thought they were the majority. But it turned out they were like 5% of the population. So you turn off 95% for that 5%. And that's what we've had across media over the last several years. It's really been a travesty. And they've been watching their profits fall and their ratings slip as a result. 2024 was when everybody said, you know what? We don't care if it's got Lord of the Rings, in the title, or Star Trek, or Star Wars, or Marvel in the title. Those things are pretty much dead at this point. This is just a skin suit pretending to be that. And we're just going to walk away. And everybody walked away en masse. And these people are lashing out like I've never seen. This is a huge lash out from the showrunner. So this is not out of character. In 2022, following the conclusion of the show's first season, he described critics as evil. Like I said, they've been doing this the whole time. He told The Hollywood Reporter then, "The spirit of Tolkien is about disparate peoples who don't trust one another and look different from one another, finding common ground in friendship and accomplishing big things." So it's interesting. The Tolkien story is the generic Hollywood casting where you have the female lead, the one gay guy, the one black guy, and the like token Asian or something, so that you can have your party like look exactly the same, like a cookie cutter movie. That's not really what this was all about at all. Ridiculous on this front. This aspiration would be offensive to people and enrage them. It's very hard for us to understand. What are they protecting? Yeah, we're protecting Tolkien's work, unlike you. Well, I don't see how these people who were saying these things think they're fighting for good. There's a line in episode 7 where Galadriel says every war is fought from without and within. Even if you're fighting for something you think is good, if you do something worse in that fight, then you become evil. I don't see how people who are saying these things think they're fighting for good. It's patently evil. Oh, yes, please clap for that. Really, really interesting on this front. It is a weird SJW take on like just how wars are fought and how wars are won and what matters in that context. Because when you are fighting for good, you just go all out for good. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, when you go all out and you actually just push on the level of good, and you succeed, it is a wonderful thing. That's what heroism is about. And doing the hard thing to accomplish the goal is what heroism is about. And that's why these guys can't write good stories, because they don't even understand what a hero is. They don't understand what good and evil is at all. You can see that right now. So Samba TV this week, as we said earlier in the week, reported that the show lost over 50% of its viewers from the first season when comparing the two premiere episodes. The data tracking in 2022 showed that the debut episode was watched by 1.8 million in households, and now it's 902,000. So the millions of people that he's calling out to out there are not actually watching this show at this point. It's been absolutely abandoned, and it's because they created a travesty that doesn't do honor to Tolkien. And, more than that, I mean, it's just boring. They really didn't set up, like I said, they don't understand the hero's journey. They don't understand how to write a storyline that goes out and builds into something. And so now, these 70-minute episodes, you sit there and you sit through them and you're squirming in your seat because you're so bored all the time because they just sit there and just talk. We don't know what's going on. It just doesn't work after this many episodes. You really, honestly, there's so many things I could do to just fix Rings of Power, but the first thing is probably just make it 42-minute episodes, just like, normal drama TV is, and stop with these over-bloated productions that just, drag on. That's been another part of their hubris over the last years that's been happening. So they'll do it. This is the cycle. They build something that just does not function for an IP. They go off and they talk about how it's all about diversity casting, and that's the most important thing to them. And then they play victim about it when the ratings aren't there, and then they attack the fans. It happens every single time with every single property, and we're just tired of it at this point. I think everybody is just so sick of these people, and they want it all to go away. Now, so far, Amazon has said they're committed to the 5-season run of this, but how much are they going to do when this is clearly a money-losing proposition at this point? I don't know. We'll see what happens. We are 6 episodes into this second season, and gosh, not much left to go. And you can see they're already panicking in the writer's room. Leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Hit the like and subscribe button. Make sure to grab the Adventures of Baron von Monocle 6-book series on Amazon. Really appreciate you guys for being there and supporting real fantasy and real stories. We'll be back soon.